I am connecting with somebody in mission, someone working incredibly hard, entrepreneur, CEO, philosopher, scientist, researcher. You could be seen as a dork, as a nerd, whatever you do in your career. You either don't talk about it to your social group because it's not cool enough, or you only socialize with these colleagues and work crew that are seen as really nerdy and geeky. You could all be lecturers. So I get like senior lecturers at a university. I get a science suite, two scientists in their lab coats, just you and him or you and her, and it's the rest of you guys who all study a discipline, and you're all seen as quite nerdy and out there, and you're actually a bit of a group, a bit of a team, but at the end of the day, there's a much bigger mission. I am the Hermitologist, Clairvoyant, intuitive reader. I am using the standard tarot Rider-Waite deck, but I'm also using my TV tarot first and second edition. And we're talking about the Big Bang Theory, that big philosophy, that big idea you have, and the crew that you associate with, yeah? Someone here has a crew they really don't tell about what they do for a living. So someone's in deficit most nights of the week when they go home to their lover, or they meet up with their friends, meet up with their brother on the weekends, or if you live with your brother, you're so disconnected and removed from work. And it's hard. I'm being guided to share the example I'm getting in my head, which is you should be creating a lifestyle instead of a career, yeah? You want your life to be amazing and great all the time. Create a lifestyle. Instead of creating or choosing a career path where you're tethered or tied to a 9 to 5, create a lifestyle so every day is fun, exuberant, lovely and bright, a vibe. We're using the Big Bang Theory as an example today because in that, they always have their Chinese nights. They always meet up and they're always together. It's a lovely friendship group. They all study the same discipline. They all talk the same science brain, physics, nerdy conversations. It's lovely, right? And the idea is someone isn't finding their common tongue, their true voice, their throat chakra, their life path, their purpose, their destiny, because their life is wrapped around a social group that isn't aligned to them. If you can't talk career, love, light, positivity, mission, healing, your highest vibration, if you can't talk high vibes with this group, you're in deficit in life. So the lifestyle you have isn't aligned to your career, your finance. You tell me in the comments, where is the deficit? Where is the shortfall? I wanted to say Sean. And then that makes me think about Sean the sheep. And it makes me feel like I'm being encouraged to call you out, actually, yeah. They're giving me, you're choosing to be the sheep. You're the black sheep. You know you've been the black sheep, but you choose to act like you're one of the sheep and you do what they do. When you are not in your element, some of you could work from home, some of you could work remotely, some of you could, in my head I get cease and desist as well. So there's another legal reading out that may be relevant for you guys. I'm just following the chain of command I'm getting in the mind from the divine, okay? Some of you need to check out the legal reading I dropped a little while back. You'll see it on the timeline. And some of you also need to check out the Black Sheep Ascension story I have on the channel, which is on the homepage in the Dark Night of the Soul section, titled The Black Sheep. Check that out because I'm talking to you guys specifically, that collective. The card says, take back your life. Take back your life. The unknown card is the moon card in tarot. The Big Bang Theory card is the Knight of Swords. You have an incredible brain. You're incredibly intelligent, but you keep coming up short again and again because you have no one to tit-tat with. You have no one to go back and forth with. I know exactly how that feels. like I want to say I'm out of that energy, but I've learned to live with that energy. The worst time for me psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually was to be coming fully into my gifts, fully into cooking up a storm intellectually, and I had no one to go back and forth with. I was on my own. It was heartbreaking. It was painful. I had a lot of personal issues in my life as well. I was finding myself in this new paradigm, this new dimension, this new way of existing. I had no idea I had the intellectual capacity at which I did. I was just studying and researching, developing my skill sets on my own. I was searching and seeking for anyone to talk to, anyone to love me, anyone to reassure me, anyone to let me know I wasn't going crazy and absolutely insane with all this formula, physics, code, and frothing intelligence in the mind. I was so low. It was fucking toxically painful. And every time I went to anyone else, they just looked at me like I was stupid. And then in came that imposter syndrome. In came that element of me feeling I'm not enough and I'm stupid and my career goals won't manifest, my dreams won't manifest, I'm making all of this up, I'm not real, I can't achieve. And really, that was everyone else's projection. Because someone doesn't understand what you're saying doesn't make you wrong. Because somebody doesn't believe in your concept doesn't make it any less a concept that you have created. It's about your ability to stay consistent, keep going, and the unknown is where you're at. And the card says, take back your life. There's so much you can't see right now. Yeah? It's giving me loads of stories about Liam Neeson in this card. And it's going to me, it was fine in Taken 1 and Taken 2. We understood the mission. Someone was taken and we had to get them back. This reading's really about mission for you. Really, really about mission, yeah? This, my hands are in like a Black Lives Matter, like, or fist at this time. So if you are into, fighting for, justice and there's issues in regards to race or racism in the working environment, then this is also extra confirmation for you because I felt that wave of, injustice racially as well coming through, okay? So bear that in mind. I receive you, I hear you, and go and check out hermitology.me as well, actually. If you go to hermitology.me/press, all links in the description, you can have a look at some of the Are You a Slave versus Master series and understand how systematic oppression and critical race theory does spill over into the new dynamics of life and where we're going for the future in relation to tech. You can also go to the homepage and look at a range of different disciplines across science and dive in over there. If you are indeed one of the nerds, then you do belong here. When I say nerd, that is also a massive compliment. Welcome aboard. I am a nerd and I live for it. It's taken me a long time to own that narrative, be comfortable with that narrative, because I was so much more comfortable being the sheep. Bah was a much easier concept than standing out. Imagine you are a pig in a room full of sheep. The pig is not suddenly going to start going bah. The pig's going to go oink, 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 oink. That's what you naturally do. So why are you barring? Yeah? Looks a little bit silly to the others when a pig starts to bar. Yeah? And that's the hardest lesson we have to teach ourselves. And when imposter syndrome crops up. Because what I will say on the journey, especially when in mission, our foes see us before we do. Our friends, family members, they see us before we do. Everybody else has a better perspective of us than we do. That's what you should probably know first and foremost before we dive into the Rider-Waite Tarot. Because the truth of the matter is, anyone can look at us and guess what they see? Full body of us, all angles of us, 360. We don't even get that luxury. Even when we look in the mirror, we don't get that luxury of the self view. Yeah? We don't see ourselves. We look down, we see our chest, we see our feet, we see our legs moving in front of us, we see our hands in front of our face. We don't see us. So understand the perspective other people have of you is different, always valid, not accurate, not correct. Their own projection, their own perception, own that. But believe me, they do see you. And a lot of people have seen you being a sheep when you're really from the pig family. And that's not a disrespect to anyone who is anti-pork. I'm thinking of all the Muslims and all the Rastafarians now getting all upset and tight in the comments going, what do you mean swine? Swine, and I like swine. But the truth of the matter is it's a metaphor, guys, and we love spirit animals here, and pigs are gorgeous creatures symbolically in relation to spirit animals and spirit animal totems. Check out her 7D Consciousness channel. A lot of stuff over there in regards to frequency healing and upgrades energetically and conscious conversation. Okay, so let's dive into the tarot now, shall we? Now, the first card out represents the action that's being taken here. I love it. It's the Justice card, and I'm seeing this now with you for the first time. Although I've created these spreads and I've laid them all out gorgeously, I haven't dived into it now and accepted the channel and the divine meshes until I'm live with you. So the fact that I already mentioned to go and watch the legal reading I put out a few weeks ago with Judge Judy on the cover and a few other tarot cards, I'm being guided to say that again because the Justice card's out. And that reading is labelled Getting That Justice, you know. So straight away, the action is justice. It's about damn time you receive the justice that you deserved here. Because there's been an obstacle, a challenge, a mission, something in the way. And you've been waiting a long time for this to be resolved. I love it because it talks to me about... It talks to me more and more about critical race theory, but it talks to me about critical realism. It talks about alerts. It talks about messaging services. It talks about updates. It talks about degrees of freedom. It talks about purposeful planning. It talks about strategic mechanics. I want to say weird words instead of normal things because I would never say strategic mechanics, but it makes me want to talk about strategy and then mechanics, and then the idea of bringing two different disciplines together and then ascending and developing. And it talks about friends and social groups and niches and who can or can't fit into the clique. I'm also getting a vision in my head, okay, of a lot of people who come from being not liked or being bullied and being really awkward, yeah, like YouTubers who were potentially hermits in the past that didn't really have anyone and really awkward and were bullied in school. The moment that they kind of get somewhere in their career, this is people across all walks of life, or not even YouTubers, influencers, social media, TikTok, anywhere in life, Facebook, on and offline. If you come from a place of not being liked, being bullied, awkward, and uncomfortable and the nerdy one, when you actually start getting a clique of your own, build your own business, or get a following online, get your own clique, you become a little bit toxic if still jaded, if still wounded by the bullies and the wedgies and the swirlies down the toilet. You become an element of that because there's so many people, and I say YouTube because I see a lot of creators and people out there across the timeline who have suddenly now come up, got money, got a brand, got an image, got a business, got a net worth, and suddenly now you were really not known, seen or recognized or popular at all, but because of the community that you've managed to build for yourself, you've risen an ego, and now you're acting like the jock, and you're walking around with your jersey on, and you're the coolest in the school. Like, it's this dynamic that's playing out, and it's a little fetish. It's like someone who never really had it suddenly has it, and they didn't go down the humble route of having it. They've gone down, finally, I get to be the cool kid in the school playground or the popular one. So I get to take on this persona. But it becomes toxic and it removes someone away from mission. I keep getting a brother in my head, okay? So that's my brother, that's my Cody, that's my ride or die, that's my best friend kind of energy. That's the one I look to. But one of you have a lack of morals and integrity. One of you is living out this toxic dream, and the other person is going bah, bah. But you're a black sheep even in that dynamic with that one other person, because you're a pig and you're meant to go, you know? So you're living in the wrong dimension, and you're being asked to look at that, because if you're having failings financially, okay, this is interesting, because the vision I get in my head is collapse again. collapse again, collapse again. Also, the words are used in that justice reading. Collapse again. Something keeps going up and then it collapses. Now, this is weird because I'm getting so much mixed messages with that. Finance, yes. Business, yes. Actual engineering, mechanics, trying to start the engine, trying to jump start your car. It won't go. Something keeps collapsing. Every time you think you've got it, collapse. A theory, a method. This could be a researcher who is in so much ego, a philosopher, a teacher, like a lecturer, a senior lecturer, I get in my head. Someone who's a professor, because we're thinking about these characters from Big Bang Theory. Someone who's got a concept, and there's duality within you about the path you should have went down, but you're following the reference list or the notations of another, and as a result, you're just barring over and over again. But you were meant to do that unique thing. You were meant to go somewhere really special and unique for you. You haven't arrived to your destination. You haven't made it to where you're meant to go. So justice is coming in because you have worked incredibly hard. You could have 3 people with you developing this with the un, dos, tres of the 3 of Wands. These 3 wands here signify something very significant. And as a result of all of that, the past energy, death. Something was really shut down in the past because of this. Something came to an end. Something came to a close. You could have been hanging around with a group, right, that were toxic, done something wrong, blocked your blessings, blocked a invention, blocked a creation, blocked light, yeah? Blocked light, prevented some kind of light coming up and the strength being there inside of you more than anything else. But I don't think you realise that these people were pesticides, parasites. They destroyed whatever you were bringing birth to. But these people broke you, took away your invention, took away your idea, took away your progress, right? And as a result, it's like a teacher looking at your progress report and grading you incredibly low and going, no, that's not going to make it. No. Okay, no, we can't do anything with that. There you go. You got a D minus. Do better next time, right? And then you've just felt defeated after that. And as a result, that ended your dream. Or like applying for a scholarship, applying for a promotion, applying to be a professor, applying for that senior leadership role. Yeah? At the end of the day, you didn't go for this job opportunity. You didn't go for the next step up in your career because of this group and their invitation to be a conformist in their eyes. And as a result, you've spent a lengthy window of time since this incident occurred and been at a loss. So then we look at the present moment and we see strength. You're awakening and you're getting your strength back and you are starting to see the truth of the situation. Even more interesting, the next aspect is the future. And it's the 7 of Swords. You are now going to start seeing the lies that you were told. You're going to start seeing who everyone really, really is. Everyone's work speaks for itself. Everyone's body of work speaks for itself. Since I really came into the field of engineering, I refer to it as the DC field of engineering in relation to decentralization and centralization, really important for the future of humanity, infrastructure, systemization, technology, AI, AGI. I can go on all day, but go to hermitology.me to discover more about me. Links in the description. When we focus on you, you are awakening to all of these little elements that have been deceptive, and you're starting to see who everyone really is and what they've really achieved in their life. It's not about tearing other people down and going, you haven't got a body of work, you haven't done much, you're not getting anywhere in your life or your career. It's not so much that, but it's about the awareness of blocked innovation. You joined a collective of blocked innovators. You chose to sit at a board meeting with all these people with no face, yeah? All these people with no momentum, no money, no alertness, no readiness, no preparedness. There was no activation, vibration in this collective. None. And for me, that talks about one of my really old influences that I used to love, which is activation vibration. And I'm being guided to share the story. I used to speak about activation vibration all the time. An influencer who was riding the wave in around maybe about 2026 when I first stepped into the spiritual awakening arena. And she was the main one out there doing stuff. She came off the back of Dr. Phil. And she had a really bad life. Her mum was really awful. She was really known for that. Changed her life, became spiritual, and started making loads and loads of content off of it all the time. My issue with her, as I started to evolve and grow, and I started to realise who she was behind the image online, and what her life was before she came spiritual, I realised there's a real deficit in the spiritual community. And what we do is we conform to the standard narrative of what it means to be a spiritualist, what it means to be a light worker, how we dress, what we wear, what we eat, what we drink, how we speak, the tone of our voice, what we give off to the universe, how we present online. Very different vibration. And I could look at her aura and I repeatedly said, she can't be happy. No way. She can't be happy because she puts on this mask all day and night. I know because I'm wearing one too. I owned it all the time. I said, I know what it feels like to wear this mask, because for me, when I started my spiritual journey in 2016, I'm suddenly gone vegan, giving up cigarettes, working out all the time, yoga, Tai Chi, interpretive body movement and dance, healing energy, doing the damn thing. It got to the point where, no, I need cigarettes again. Give me a fag, I've had enough. Want a glass of wine. And every now and then I had a cigarette. I wouldn't share that with the collective. And I would feel guilty and fraudulent online on social media because I have fags and wine, but on social media I act really, really healthy. And I stopped my vegan journey within the first 3 months. I was on and off pescatarian and veganism, intermittent fasting, changing my approach over and over again. And I realised, whoa. And I kept going with it, I'll be honest, because I'm a very different person now than I was then. Many, many years down the line, I went, whoa, I can't even tolerate this love and light version of me, because I'm so far from where I was in life. I had to get so far away from that toxic, negative, self-hate version that I was, that I ran all the way to the other side, hugging trees, saying, namaste. But that's too far to the left, because I wasn't raised that way. I came from a house where we've got potty mouths and rude, and I come from council housing, and I come from a single parent family, and I come from kind of hood ghetto lifestyle. So there's got to be a go-between. You can't wipe away your past and your ancestry and your upbringing and your inherent behaviours. They don't go anywhere. So if you don't deal with them and you keep wearing this mask and namasteing all day, it's going to get you. And it may make you some coin on social media, make you feel good about yourself, but who are you underneath that? Because so many people show up on social media presenting as something, and it's just a persona to pay the bills, but boy does it tax your soul. Boy do you sometimes make a deal with the devil when you do these things. So you've got free, and when you really want to go somewhere in your career long term, long term, you're required to be you. And you can't show up in that room, or you can't be around these people too long, or that meeting doesn't go well, or that doesn't go well for you, because you're not you. Because you're not you, and you're tired and drained. You know why you're struggling so much with the motivation, and you don't want to do that job, or you don't want to be in that environment? Because you're not you. You're somebody else that you've pretended to be, and now it's getting weighty to wear that mask, right? And that's what's going to be revealed to you in the future. All these masks, and it's not so much about you, it's about everyone around you, yeah? And I love the fact that this girl, the waitress in Big Bang Theory, I love the fact that, do we see her studying physics? The neighbour. Do we see her studying physics? She even dates one of the characters in it as well. I'm blanking on everyone's name right now. But she doesn't suddenly start speaking physics and trying to become someone she's not. She is who she is. She accepts her brain capacity for what it is. She's not one of them. But she's still in the crew. She's still in the clique. Leonard she dated. You know? So it's about you being able to be yourself, even if you're the odd one out in the group. And once again, that's that black sheep. She's the black sheep in the group. But she owns it. She's loved. She's a great character. She stands out for who she is. So the issue here is, you've long stood out as who you are. You weren't like the rest of the others in the clique or crew. You don't even do what they do. But you're still valid. You still have a right to speak. You still have purpose and mission. And it's about you opening up emotionally. With the King of Cups here, we're talking about what is your biggest asset right now. The greatest asset for you in this situation is your emotional depth. Your ability to tell the truth. Your ability to shine light on the others as well. Help the others see. You're going to have to start healing and awakening and opening the others up to this. This is a corridor of staff. This is a team. This is a C-suite. This is a union of friendship for real. Because it doesn't feel like it's a breakdown. It doesn't feel like anyone's intentionally evil or malicious. But everyone's got their own desire and dream. And you've just been pitching in on everybody else's lack of foresight, lack of vision. Everyone else here is somewhat lackluster as well. Underqualified, underpaid, ungrateful is either their energy or what they're giving off to the universe. Yeah, I always talk about in early years how the children looking after the staff looking after the children have wounded inner children, and that's what made me jump careers towards dealing with adults and their inner child more specifically, and adult well-being for parents and staff more specifically, which then evolved into everything I do now. Because it's a situation of, how are we supposed to help these grow? If we're meant to be the teachers, the leaders, the philosophers, the scientists, the researchers, we're the ones here with the expertise, and we're given the power to guide, educate, teach, be the light for these others. But that's nothing if I'm in deficit, if I am actually the dark. You're meant to teach and spread light, not teach and spread shadow. So now someone needs to activate the truth. Yeah? It's about that Liam Neeson story. Liam Neeson? Story. Take your life back. I've got to go on a mission and get this right, because this has been incredibly wrong. Like, to write your own narrative. The activity I'm leaving you with, guys, because we have an activity for you guys, because you are the advanced nerds on the channel, well done, is write a statement as if you were Liam Neeson. Go and watch all the Liam Neeson movies for a nice little bit of entertainment, and think about when he starts talking in that dialogue voice, or that monologue voice. Create a monologue for you about what you're going to do in 2026, or whatever year you watch this. Create a monologue, and every time you lose yourself, come back to that monologue, read it again. This is a therapeutic technique as well. And own that monologue. Help that monologue push you forward. Perform that monologue in front of your group. See how they respond. If they laugh, they mock you, they think you're stupid, you know where you're at with them. You know, because some of you actually are not meant to be around those people. I said one of you and a brother. One of you and a mother. Someone's mother mollycoddles them way too much. You can't breathe underneath her thumb. You're never going to breathe trapped in mummy's blanket all night and day. Sorry, got to say it. And then the other person has got a brother who is just so not relevant to any of their self-development or growth, yet appears to be the leading guide in your life. So that's also a massive problem in your reality, if you have a guide who cannot guide you. Where are you going? Where are you going with that person? You're always going to stay beneath. And the vision I'll also share with you, because in some family dynamics and sibling dynamics, you get family members that feel like because they're older than you, they are the ones that should be leading the way. So if you have a better idea, more money, more intelligence, and you're wiser and more prosperous than they are, in spirit, in light, in mind, body and soul, whatever it is, they will often denounce you, avoid you, ignore you, play you down, never speak highly or good of you, never inspire or motivate you in the way in which you really, really need, and keep you in a deficit so you can stay beneath them. Because God forbid the younger sibling rise up above the older one and make the older one look insignificant in their life. Yeah? I'm talking to you from a psychological standpoint as well, and what it means to study developmental psychology for years and family dynamics, yeah, and light and dark shadow. That's Carl Jung and Freud and Piaget, and throw in a bit of Vygotsky if we want to here, because your older sibling is your role model, aren't they? And the zone of proximity, the learner, the teacher. So it's when the student becomes the master. The second sibling down the line is always a lot more smarter, in my opinion, a lot more smarter than the first, because the first one is burdened. Yeah, the first child. They're burdened with the mother-father dynamic, or lack thereof. They see things for what it is. First child. The parent has no experience of how to raise that child. That child's going to have a tougher upbringing because they're the first. By the time the second child comes, guess who the second child is looking at? Second child's not looking at mum and dad for guidance on how to live and exist in this new world. They're looking at sibling, because siblings closer to them in age and ability. So they now take all of the intelligence, growth rate, development from sibling, where older sibling only had mum and dad to mirror, to role model. Harder to look at an adult as guidance. A lot easier to look at a child, familiar, someone more your size, and your brain capacity, same level of intellect. They may be walking, you're just starting to crawl, but you know you're going to walk next. You can see where you're going because you've got an older sibling. They don't have that privilege. Yeah, so immediately you are receiving generational privilege from your elder sibling. They feel that, and that creates resentment. That is a positive when nurtured in healthy homes, but a negative when brothers and sisters and siblings bicker and fight, because how dare you learn to do that quicker than me and be better than me in any aspect of life when I'm the older one and I should have all the rights and all the responsibility. Toxicity ensues, basically, is the point here. Okay? So today we've really spoken about a range of interesting dynamics from family, friends, colleagues and associates, and your role within it. Okay? And there's this theory, this methodology, this hypothesis that you've been testing, and it's really been unknown. And you haven't been able to solve this. The moon has been there because there's been lies all in front of your face. Your emotions have been blocked. Your invention has been blocked. Your scholarship's been blocked. Your funding's been blocked. You have not been an asset to yourself at all over the last few years because of this. And there's been temptation in this group, to do illegal activity, to do more and more things wrong. And although it appears that you've not been doing these wrong things, it does appear that that circumference of all of it is just a stagnant, stale, mirrored image of what this group should be. Conformity. Whatever social group or ecosystem there is, there's loads of it around the world. Like a, whatever. I want to say like student halls. Or everyone has student halls around the world. C-suite. Everyone's got C-suites all around the world. Whatever it is, there's this ideology. Everyone uses the term CEO, COO, CTO. We understand the generative terms for all of these things, do we not? So someone is in a generic group and the output is generic, and the job description, the job specs, the lifestyle, the way to get funded, the way to get your innovation out there, the way to evolve and grow is that same dynamic again and again, and it's not producing fruit. Because someone's meant to break the mold. Someone's meant to take their life back. Someone's meant to go on a much deeper mission. Someone has to go on that Taken journey. I need to go and watch Taken again. Go out there and save the girl, right? That's what it feels like. And that's his daughter. But for me, it's save your inner child. Save yourself. Save the future woman that you want to be, right? Does that make sense? Save the future you. There's something about saving someone, but that someone is you. The you that you want to be 2 years from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. The you that you want your children to see, the life that you want for your children. Like level up and learn to live more, be more, dream more, be happier with what you are and who you are and the difference you bring to the team and environment. Some of you will be leaving teams, starting again, but many of you will be the leading driving force within your team and making change. Some of you have got a lovely team that just need a kick up the arse and that a light switched on because their brains are turned off and they're so conformist at this point and so narrow-minded because they've been in the career so long that you can't get out of the muck that you put yourselves in. But some of you guys will be walking away from siblings, moving out, getting your own place, changing your lifestyle completely, starting brand new, moving away from mothers that are manipulative and narcissistic, and grounding yourself in your own accommodation, your own home, your own business, and starting to move forward and really break that philosophy. Move into the career choice you've dreamed of, okay? I really hope this finds you well, guys. That was a lot to cover today. I want to go on and on and on. I could go on ages when I'm doing a clairvoyant channel like this because there's so much more in your vibration. But what I will say is just go to hermitology.me, dive into all the things I do over there and get a feel for it. Because that's what happens when you choose to be the black sheep and you choose to oink if you're a pig. And you accept the narrative in the world in which you live in, and you just journey alone. As painful as it is, as difficult as it is, you have to go on that unique journey. Happiness comes from those kind of risks. And it's not an overnight success. It's not easy. A lot of struggles I go through each and every day to keep everything afloat and to keep being me in a world where being other is so much easier. Okay? So keep fighting the good fight and restore the faith in your heart so you can start restoring the faith in the others that really need you, okay? Love and light.